What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. Special guest, needs no introduction. Super League judges in the building. How are you, bro?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Curtis. Everything good? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Just, the usual start of the week. Let's have a moan about Arsenal. It's like therapy now, isn't it, for Arsenal fans?
Monday. It's a Monday, isn't it? Like that. I mean, mind you, last few weeks it's been all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is the first Monday of blues, as they say. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say the word blues today after what's happened, but certainly.
Well, you lead me in nicely there. We'll start about that first before we talk about Arsenal. Obviously, Chelsea have sacked Frank Lampard today. And I was speaking to a few people on Twitter and saying, does this show an elite mentality of Chelsea that, Frank Lampard is a club legend, let's face it. Mikel Arteta, no disrespect, he's not a legend at Arsenal. Lampard did all right last season. He had a transfer ban. He lost Hazard. He got in the top four. Obviously, he spent a lot of money. And after 6 months, they've said, that's it. Do you think that shows an elite mentality of Abramovich to make that move?
I don't know about elite, but definitely ruthless. Certainly ruthless in that respect. What you would have to say with Chelsea, and I've been, talking to a few of the Chelsea friends today. I think it's 14 managers since Abramovich has took over. I think, they've won the most silverware since Abramovich took over. So what it tells you is that, they change their managers for whatever reason and they still win trophies. The reason is because, the the owner backs him. Whether you whatever you think about it. Let's get it straight about Frank Lampard. When they appointed him, they knew that he was a novice. They knew that he wasn't experienced. They knew he was a club legend, but they still went with it. But they still give him 200 million in this transfer window. And whatever way you look at it, I still think it's harsh what they've done, because if you be honest about it, he's had to go through all sorts of things that a normal manager, an experienced manager, wouldn't have to go through. COVID, all the restrictions that go with that. New signings coming over here, Curtis. Big money and living a different life to what they would be a year ago. Simple as that. They're in a bubble. They can't, have family over and settle down and all those sort of things that are there. So I think to spend big money on a player this season, it's going to be tough. We spent 72 million on Pepe and we're still waiting for that a year and a half later, or 2 years, however long it is now. So I think it's very, very harsh. But also what it tells you is the mentality of Chelsea Football Club. They're not happy about being in ninth position or whatever. Yeah. Now, when you say about Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, you want to go down that route. I don't think you should compare the two from that point of view, because one's being given £200 million. Now, if Mikel Arteta had been given £200 million, would he be where he is now? We don't know. That's the thing. But the fact of the matter is they have given him £200 million and they're ninth in the league and they're not happy with it. On the other hand, I look at it with Mikel Arteta on a worse run than what Frank Lampard was in, but the club backed him. Now, I honestly think there's two things can happen now for Mikel Arteta. He's got to prove everybody wrong and prove everybody, and prove the ball right for backing him. Because if he doesn't, and Chelsea go on a big up run there and maybe challenge for the title, get top four, Arsenal fans are going to be saying, oh, well, they've changed their manager and this is what happened, So I think it's going to add a little bit of pressure to Mikel Arteta, definitely. But I wouldn't compare it quite the same, because one club has got ambition to win titles, the other has got ambition to earn money.
And that's it. You've got it bang on there. We don't actually have owners that are trying to win titles, unfortunately. But I just wanted to quickly look at this. This was the statement that Chelsea made, and I just highlighted this part here. It said, "We are grateful to Frank for what he has achieved in his time of head coach. However, recent results and performances have not met the club's expectations, leaving the club mid-table without any clear path to sustained improvement." I mean, that's a damning statement there. They're basically saying, they can't see how they can get anywhere this season. I mean, listen, I do agree Arteta has not had that 200 million, so it is a lot different. But it's just crazy that Chelsea act so quickly when things are going wrong, where Arsenal just kind of, don't worry, we'll muddle through it, and we'll just see where we end up at the end of the season.
Yeah, well, it does seem like that, but I think that what you have to align is there's different ambitions. Now, what I say with that is that clubs have different ambitions. What was the ambition of Arsenal this season? I don't think anybody knows. Obviously, the ambition for Chelsea is to win the league. I mean, they've made that clear by what they've said in their statement as far as the transfer window is concerned. But and they've not met those expectations, Curtis. Whether they've spent the 200 million or not, and the statement proves that. Now you look at West Brom. Their format is to make sure they stay in the Premier League. And Slaven Bilic was doing okay, but the club felt that he wasn't the right man to so they sacked their manager. So then you have a look at Arsenal. What is the ambition of that club? Now, if it is to get top four, then are Arsenal going to get top four? I don't think so. So Mikel Arteta has failed in his objectives, but Arsenal, for whatever reason, have not bit the bullet, and that is as simple as it goes, and you all these teams have got different ambitions. Now, our ambition should be trying to challenge for the title. That's what it should be, and what we should be looking to do. And I think that's what is the long-term aim of the club. They're feeling that they're going to back him. We've got young players coming through and everything like that, and that's the way Arsenal are going. Now, with Chelsea and where it's gone wrong for Frank Lampard is simple facts is that they didn't sack him last season when there was no money about and they got fourth and whatever. Their ambition was different. This time around, they've spent big. And once you spend money, you put yourself in a position. And Arsenal haven't, under Mikel Arteta, gone out and spent £70 million yet. You know what I mean? Now, if they'd have gone and spent £70 million and we would be in where we are, I don't know. On one player, that is, by the way. We spent £45 million on Partey, £22 million on Gabriel. So we've not gone, I think Chelsea spent that on one player, what we spent on two players. So, there's a difference. There's a difference in it, I don't really like to compare, because if you want to compare about things, and I'll be honest, Ancelotti won the double and that wasn't good enough for Chelsea to elect him. Arsenal win FA Cups and reward managers with new contracts and keep them in jobs. So there's a different mentality at Arsenal. Now, part of me wants Arsenal to be successful under Mikel Arteta because we don't get rid of our managers. But, there is a time, like when it was under Emery, that it didn't happen. I will say this, and I've said it all along, Like Mikel Arteta is very, very fortunate in the run that he had before Christmas to still be in a job. And he should take that luck and whatever and make sure that he doesn't fail with it, because he's been given, I think, how would I say? He's been able to keep his job in an environment where not many managers in any other club have survived.
Totally agree with that. I mean, I think like in any situation, there has to be a line where if you cross it, there has to be action. And I felt like when Arsenal were 15th, it was a little bit like, come on, how bad does this need to get before we react? But I think a big part of it, Lee, is, they were saying Arteta is on $6 million a year. He's got 2 years left on his deal. To pay him up, to get rid of his 6 staff members, to bring in a new manager, bring in his staff, it's expensive. And, Arsenal, we know they don't really like spending money. So do you think it was a financial issue why they didn't pull the trigger on Arteta?
Well, yeah, I think probably there could be something in that. I will say that if Arsenal got relegated, it cost a lot more, you know what I mean? And at one stage, it was looking like that, The thing is, Curtis, we don't really know what the scenarios. What is Arteta's goal? What has he got to do? You know what I mean? And I don't think none of us really know. You know what I mean? Is it to get top four? Now, if it is to get top four, right? Okay, or I'll change that. Is it to get Champions League football? Now, there's 2 routes for Champions League football. There is the Premier League and also the Europa League. Now, when he was going on this bad run, The Europa League was taking care of itself. So the board might turn around and say the objectives are for you to get into the Champions League by either way. Now, for me, the best way to do it is to make sure you can get into the top 4 if you can, and then win the Europa League, and then you've got like a little bit of money in the bank. But now, what Mikel Arteta has realistically done, I think, is put all his eggs into the Europa League. Now, if he fails on that, you can quite rightly say that Arsenal have got everything in their rights to say, well, you've not done your objectives and whatever.
Yeah.
And you are right, to get rid of Arteta is going to cost Arsenal 10, 15 million. But then I look at it, they don't mind letting players go for free, do they? So, and losing money. So are they going to worry about that? The club's poorly managed, as we know, from top to bottom. Yeah. And we're in a mess. Now, at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta has got to come in and do things that he's had to do, where he hasn't got 200 million to just go, right, yep. He's got a wheel and deal and everything like that. So I understand it's a lot tougher for Mikel Arteta, but he hasn't got that pressure of what someone like Lampard has got and whatever. No, and you have to say that at Man United, I think Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer, he must have been like, I thought favourite for the sack at least 3 times in this last year. Yeah. And I thought, he's definitely gone. But for whatever reason, they've stuck with him. And I don't think it's a financial reason that they've stuck with him. It's because they believe in him for whatever reason, whether we think it's right or not. So maybe the board do feel that that Arteta is the man to do that, And at this moment in time, I'm going to be honest, I'm not convinced. Yeah. But, I'm willing to keep the faith in him if it is. But he does, what's the word? Push my patience in the faith department when he's doing what he's doing with the run that he went on, and also on Saturday. But listen, I don't think I'm a fan that wants Arsenal to do well. I'll be happy to eat as much Mikel humble pie as I possibly can. If he gets us to the Europa League final and wins it, I'll be more than happy to eat it and put on 6 stone. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Lee, listen, I said the same thing. I've called out Arteta many times. I said, I don't mind being wrong. You can all have a go at me. If it's to the benefit of the club, I don't mind. And I think we've seen with you this season, actually. I don't think I've ever seen a more frustrated Lee Judges than the one I've seen this season. You've become a bit of a meme on the internet with your reaction.
I have been frustrated because, I don't know about any other fan. After last season, I did feel under Mikel Arteta there was something there, and I believed that Arsenal would do really, really well. And then I've seen not only poor results, poor football. Oh. And I have been frustrated. Now, listen, you can be frustrated. I think that, some of the things that have been going on is because I'm watching football now, Curtis, in a different way to what I've watched it for a very, very long time, watching it on telly, and watching Arsenal, via stream and all that, is very different to what I'm doing. No, and it's not the same, I'm watching other teams, completely different to how I watch Arsenal games. So it's difficult, and I think it's frustrating because, listen, I'm no angel when I was in the ground. You know what I mean? Like, I'd shout and scream and whatever, and then Arsenal score, it's all done. And that's the beauty of being a fan. You know what I mean? Yeah. I get a lot of people say, "Oh, you're a flip flop. That's a flip flop." Well, football is about opinion. Football, a game, a win changes your situation. It changes, from one game to the next, because that's what football is. Arsenal, to me, were rubbish on Saturday, but the week before, great. They beat Newcastle. Everything's on a high. And the trouble is when you get into start winning games like we have, 4 or 5 games, when you don't get what you want, you get that little bit more frustrated. The game against Palace, we expected Arsenal to win. Whether that's right or whether that's wrong, that's because of the results in the past. And we end up not winning that game, you're going to be frustrated, and that's how it is.
It is, man. And you know what? I think you make a great point there about the objective of the club. it's like, I think everyone knows that Chelsea, they finished fourth. They spent that money. They wanted a title challenge. We don't know what Arsenal's objective is, because if the objective was Champions League football, we're falling massively below that in the league. You know, the Europa League is possible, but it's difficult. So I don't know. I mean, even today, you look at Chelsea, Lampard's been sacked. Within 45 minutes, Thomas Tuchel gets announced. They've obviously done that deal weeks before. When Tottenham got rid of Poch, same evening, Jose's appointed. When we get rid of Emery, we're scratching around for weeks. Freddie Ljungberg's in charge. Ljungberg said he didn't even have enough coaches on the training ground. And then they get Mikel Arteta 5 or 6 weeks later. It's like, why are we such an indecisive club, in your opinion? And why is there no leadership at the top of the club?
Because I really think, and whether you like it or whether you don't, that we've got an owner that don't really care. He don't really care about Arsenal as like me and you do. You know what I mean? I don't care about the money side of things. I don't really worry about that. What I actually worry about is winning things. And whether you like Abramovich or not, he you know, I think cares about Chelsea. One thing is, before, when he was allowed to come into the games and when he was allowed in the country, he was watching games. He was always there. I don't see that from our owner. I see Manchester City, the owners or the people, the money men in the stadium watching the games. You know, it'd be very interesting to have a camera on Kroenke's seat to see how many times it's actually being used. You know, and I will always say this is a point that I've said before, and I say it again. You know what I mean? I like my American football. I'm a big Washington fan, and I watched Washington when they were in the playoffs. When they went out the playoffs the other day, you know what I mean? Switch it off. I'll go to bed. Oh well, I look forward to it next season. When Arsenal lose, I can't sleep. I get the ump. I'm tossing and turning through the night because I care completely different. And I think that, you know, if you've got a manager, well, you know, so be it. I think, or a coach, sorry, an owner, then that's it. You know what I mean? And he's not going to lose no money. You know, people keep saying, he'll lose money. If he was to sell Arsenal tomorrow, he's not lost money, Curtis. He's not lost anything. In fact, he's gained. The reason he keeps Arsenal, in my opinion, is because it helps him in his other businesses. You know, Arsenal's got clout. You know, for instance, the LA Rams are not one of the big boys of American football. No. Like they're like the Wolves or a Crystal Palace to the Premier League. So Arsenal is one of the big hitters. So of all of these teams that he's got, the biggest hitter that he's got is Arsenal Football Club, and that gives him the clout to do what he wants to do. Unfortunately, he's not that interested in Arsenal Football. You know, listen, you can. How can you say you can like Abramovich? You can get into it in your mid whatever and be very, very passionate. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't see that from him. No, you know what I mean. When we lost yesterday, on Saturday, when we lose games, I don't see that from him, because if I did see that from him, I would be doing something about it. Like, I'll be coming into. Flying over and going, you know, this is not acceptable. Yeah. So this is how I see it, like, you know.
Do you know what? I've had the Luda Guna and Turkish on here a few times. We've spoken about Stan Kroenke. Do you think the fans can do anything to get him out of the club, or do you think it's too difficult to force an owner out of a football club?
Listen, that's a good question, and it's a tough one. Let's just go on to certain things. Arsenal are not a different club, say, to Liverpool. For instance, Liverpool put up a thing where they was going to put their season tickets up £70. The fans went mad. After 70 minutes, they all walked out. Now, Arsenal, you're not going to get that because it's a different fan base. You know what I mean? You've got the real hardcore Arsenal fans, and then you've got like the I'm great to be an Arsenal fan, and then you're tourists. You know what I mean? So it ain't going to happen, like, you know. So the fact of the matter is, if you're a season ticket holder and you say, right, I'm giving up the game, I'm not going to the game, or you're giving up your season ticket. There's someone going to buy it. So that ain't going to happen. Like, so you've got to go into a fact of a thing where you're going to say, right, I'm going to go. Excuse me. Go to the. I'm going to spend £70, £80, £90, £100, and then not go to the game. That's what you've got to do now. But everybody's got to do that. Now, when everybody does that, then you've got an empty stadium, and then you've got thousands of people out. It's no good going to say you're not going to the game and then walk round to the pub or go home and watch it on telly. You know what I mean? It's even the people on telly that watch it there have got to get themselves down to the ground and say, right, you know, we're refusing to watch Arsenal. We're refusing to come into this stadium until you go. Now, it might not work, but I'll tell you what it would do if you went into an empty. Imagine if you went into an empty stadium after all what's going on at the moment because of crime. What an impact that would make.
It would.
Now, Liverpool all walked out 70 minutes. Did they pay £70 for that season ticket? No, it got changed. So you can do things, but you've all got to be in it together, and it's very, very, very difficult because not everybody, Curtis, agrees with what you think or what I think and whatever. Some people, I'm on groups and all that, are thinking Kroenke's doing a fair job. It's not his fault. They turn around and say that hold on a minute, he just give Mikel Arteta £45 million for a midfield player. He's bought £22 million for Gabriel. He's doing this when we're not having fans. So give credit where credit's due. So not everybody at this moment is on board, and that's where it's difficult.
I mean, you've been watching Arsenal a lot longer than me. I'm sure you've seen, a lot more ups and downs of the club. Why do you think there's such a divide in our fan base? Sometimes you can put an opinion on Twitter or something, and the amount of Arsenal fans that, go at you and send abuse, and you think, we support the same club. We can disagree, but why do you think it's like that?
I think social media is a big part of that. I think that it just is there. I also think a little bit of jealousy. I really do, because, if for instance, back in the day before all this sort of stuff come on, I might put something on Facebook or something, and no one would say anything. Yeah. But then now you say something, people think, oh, right, I'll get onto that. I can do something at it. I can get on the back of this and maybe get some. So I think social media and the way people interact and all that has definitely changed things. Yeah. And football's changed completely, Curtis, from 10, 15 years ago to now. Like being in lockdown and things like that, and I'm pretty sure everybody's been watching the old games and all that. Like, we'll have a look at those games. Tackles flying in and things like that, that was when football was great. But nowadays, everybody's got an opinion. Yeah. And football, let me tell you this, Curtis. If you've got an opinion about football, you are not right and you're not wrong. There's no right and wrong. It's your opinion, and it should be respected and taken into that context. Like, if you think Kroenke's good enough to be the owner, then that should be fair enough. You shouldn't be getting a load of abuse for it. It's the same as if you say about Mesut Ozil or whatever. But listen, if I put something on Twitter, I'm pretty sure you do. Like, you're always going to get negative people come on there and have a pop. And you just got to laugh at it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't believe how many times I've been called bald. Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? They told me something I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'll scratch me head and think, am I really? You know what I mean? Like, I'm 50 years of age, so I think I've done all right. You know what I mean? But there you go. So it is the way it is. And I think with Arsenal, it's so divided. And I do think it's something to do with the Arsene Wenger years. I think that whatever you want to go on that really made a big crack in the Arsenal fan base, which I think has found a lot harder to, bridge and gap because of that and repair. And I think that there is a repairing thing going on with Arsenal at the moment. And listen, I don't care what anybody says, Curtis. I don't care what anybody says. The fan base would get together if we start winning games of football. It's always, in my opinion, that's always the way it's been. Back in the days at Ivory, when things weren't going well, you'd get everybody go around by the director's bit and Terry Neal out, blah 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 blah. Yeah, discontent has been happening at Arsenal for a very, very long time. Having a go at players has been there a very, very long time. So things have not changed. It's just the world's got smaller, if you like, and social media can be such. Listen, one of the greatest things for me on AFTV is the people that I've met through it. Through social media and whatever, like ourselves. I've been going to Arsenal for so many years. If it weren't for social media, we'd never have met. And you meet some really nice people out of it, and it's a fantastic tool from that point of view to interact with other Arsenal fans. But there's always a negative, and unfortunately, that's the way it is.
It is, man. You put it well there, mate. Honestly, it's crazy. But listen, it'd be nice if the fan base could come back together. But I agree. I do think that Arsene Wenger situation, created a massive divide, and those wounds haven't been healed. And like you said, because the team have not improved since Arsene Wenger left, it maybe has pulled them wounds even further apart. But hey, FA Cup, obviously, we won the FA Cup last year. I was there with you at the watch-along FA Cup final. Great day for Arsenal fans in what was, a bit of a disaster of a season. We get knocked out on Saturday to Southampton. I had a lot of arguments with a lot of Arsenal fans after that game because to me, number one, I thought the team was wrong. I understand rotating players, a lot of games coming up. But when you're the FA Cup holders and when you're playing a team that is above you in the table, I don't see how you can go there, pick that team and expect to win when they're at full strength. I saw your interview on AFTV. You wasn't happy either. What did you make of that situation on Saturday?
No, I'm not. I wasn't happy with it. It made me even worse on the Sunday when I'm watching other teams making 2 or 3 changes. Your standard one with the goalkeeper. Maybe 1 or 2 players left out. Maximum 4, 7 Arsenal left out, and if you want to say 8 with changes as well. And I feel like. Listen, how can I say? When I looked at the team, this put it in perspective. You look at the team and you think, all right, okay, I see where we're going from it here. But as soon as the Southampton team come out and they've gone strong as far, and then we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Now, sometimes you play these teams and South. I remember a few years ago, Southampton away in the FA Cup. They changed all 7 or 8 changes. We made 7 or 8 changes. We beat them 5-0. So, it was the fact of the matter is that he went in big, whether that's inexperience of Arteta or whatever. But when I see the team, I thought, oh no. And I think that, looking at it now, I've had chats with people and all that, he could have, if he wanted to really toss away the cup, he wouldn't have risked Leno. He did. I think he felt that maybe Southampton would make more changes than what they did, but got totally outfoxed on it. The problem for him now is that if people go on about resting players and all that, he's virtually going to play the same team, maybe with an exception of 2 on Tuesday night. And if they were to roll over Arsenal again, then I think he's put himself under a lot of pressure because, a tired Southampton team isn't going to shouldn't happen. The fact of the matter is, what annoys me about it, and is that he's made all those changes on the back of what I think has kept him in a job. I honestly believe that if he hadn't won the FA Cup, a lot of fans, and me included, I'd give him a little bit more time because of that. Because it was not just winning the FA Cup, the way he won it, who he beat, how he beat them. Even rolling on to the Charity Shield. So if he hadn't won those and he had the start that he had to the beginning of the season, I don't think any fan would have been backing him. You know what I mean? And let's face it, let's be really honest about it. It's 50-50 that even with the FA Cup, you know what I mean? A lot of fans have lost patience and, again, it's their opinion and whatever it is, that's fair enough. So I feel for him to do what he done is great. He's not great, and what I see is if you're going for the title, and you're in the Champions League like Arsene Wenger was a few years ago, we play a semi-final against Man United. He rests a few and we lose that. Bloody hurt. I'm not going to lie, but I can accept that because you're going for the title. I see Man United that are going for the title. making one or two changes. Now, Tottenham have got Everton in the next round of the FA Cup. I'm want to see that team. Let's see if Harry Kane and Song are left at home.
Not a chance.
Because not according to a lot of our fan base. Because at the end of it, they're in the same competitions as us. They've got the same goals as us. They've got the Europa League. They've got they're up in the top, trying to get into the top 4. I don't see them bidding off. And then we get people, fans turning around and going, we've won trophies, you haven't, and all that. Then I see us lose that game.
Yeah.
And then the same people turn around and go, it's only the FA Cup. 3 points is more important. And it frustrates me. It frustrates me. Nothing better than winning a trophy. I felt that what he could have done, Curtis, is, and this is my problem, Pepe, for instance, or you can go on Willian or Eddie. If you'd have put Pepe in against Newcastle the week before, and he's around Lacazette, Aubameyang, he might have performed. And then you can list him out, and then you could put in Saka. But what he done was he played all of these 4 players in a rotation thing that are all out of form. So
you bang on.
So you have a look at someone like Pepe, if you and I'm not digging out Martinelli because he's just come back from injury, but he puts a lovely ball into him from a free kick, which he missed kicks, and he puts in a lovely ball to Eddie, which he fails to score. Arsenal go and win that game 2-1. People turn around and go, Eddie Pepe with 2 assists.
Yeah.
But because of the players around him are out of form, he doesn't get those assists, but also he's out of form as well. This has a poor performance. So all these things, go in there. You're saying to Eddie, go up there and prove yourself as a striker with a midfield of El Neni and Xhaka that have proved, even with the Aubameyang playing, he ain't getting no service. So all those little things were there, and that was the annoying thing about it from my point of view, that, sprinkle it about a little bit. We could have managed the Newcastle and this game and even the Southampton game on Tuesday a little bit better by just resting 1 or 2. Now, people turn around and say, but he might get injured in that. And I get on with that and say, right, fair enough. Well, Mari got injured in training. Martinelli got injured in training, so let's not train no more then, because just in case they're going to get injured. Whatever way you go in it, whether you rest players or not, there's always a chance you're going to get injuries. Martinelli was left out of the game. I can't think of the game before, and then he come back for the Newcastle game and got injured in the warm-up.
There you go.
So, it's a tough ask, you know what I mean? And people turn around. So this is my other beef about. I've got to get this off my case. Right, people go, I don't want to get he don't want to get Smith Rowe injured, So okay. So 20 minutes ago, go in the game against Newcastle, 0-0. We can't break. Why does he bring him on? Brings him on, plays him in extra time. We score. If you don't want to get him injured, why would you bring him on? Tierney played in that game and was rested in the next game. So I don't understand some of the decisions that he made to rest players. Granit Xhaka, why was he playing? If you're going to rest players, why was he playing? He's played the last 6 games since he's got suspended. Yeah. So and he played in that game and was rested in the Newcastle game. Doesn't make sense.
Lee, you made some great points there, man. Just someone keeps asking a question. He says, what happened to your show, The Judge, on Aftv? Some guy keeps writing it, so I thought about it.
Well, what happened was, it's as simple as that. We was doing that, and what happened was they felt that they want to do a show with Kevin. So what we decided to do was, obviously, like, me and Kevin were going to do. It was either said, do you want to do The Judge or do you want to work with Kevin? So I said, I think I'd like to work with Kevin. So we've done that show. Unfortunately, that show, because of the restrictions and everything at this moment in time, because for travelling reasons and that, we can't get it on. But once all the restrictions are done, me and Kevin will get back in the studio and be doing it. But that is the reason that went off.
Yeah, big up everyone in the chat. Nearly 1,500 in here. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. What I wanted to look at, you actually said my thoughts entirely here. I just wanted to look at this. This was the team from Saturday, and you said the same thing that I was thinking. Lee, was he changed this whole front four, against Southampton. You got Martinelli coming back from injury. You got Willian, who completely out of form. You got Pepe, who, like you said, on another day gets 2 assists. And you've got Eddie Nketiah, who is having a real tough time at the moment. And then, like you said, you got this midfield that if you're a striker, you know, these two are not going to create anything for you. And you've also got Cedric playing out of position and Gabriel coming back after a month out. So he's left us weak in so many areas in that game where you can't put 4 or 5 players who are out of form into a team against a team that is in form, that is above us in the league. Danny Ings came back. I can't understand his plan of action. You know, do you think maybe he was going to start Aubameyang prior to him obviously being pulled out the team?
No, I don't think that he would have. I think that, you know, when you look at that team now, I look at that and you think, right, Leno in goal, yeah. Gabriel, yes, definitely got to come back because, you know, he's been out for a month. That's the game that you want to play him in there. And I think not playing him alongside Holding, it's probably the partnership that he's probably looking at to be long-term for this season. Bellerin coming back, not a problem. Cedric going on the left, no problem. So the defence is like, as a 5, is not too bad. That's why we only lost 1-0, because at the end of the day, you know, it weren't too bad. Xhaka and El Neni, you know, not going to create you nothing there. And then you've got the 4 players that basically taking out Martinelli, who's just coming back from injury, that are well out of form. Now, Eddie, Pepe and Willian, for instance, have contributed at some stage of this season to us being 15th in the league. And then you're going to go and ask them to go and play against a team that's right up there, you know, like they're in a better position than us, and they're not, let's face it, not a bad side. Yeah. You know, so you really what you're doing there is from an attacking point of view, you're setting up to foul Curtis. You know what I mean? You know it and all that, like you know. Say if you was Eddie, for instance, I'm not sticking up for Eddie by any shape or form here. You know that you're under pressure. You know you're under pressure from the youth team with Balogun. You know you're under pressure from the fans. You know that you've got no Lacazette and no Aubameyang playing. You know that probably they're in front of you. You need to score goals. You know also that if you get 3 or 4 goals that day, you ain't playing Tuesday neither. So you know that you've got to really perform. But where is he going to get his performances from? Where, you know, and this is my problem. If he had someone, our game has changed over the last 6 games. Why? Because we've got Smith Rowe coming in. It's not just his performances, it's the positions that he takes up, the positions that he goes. He goes beyond the striker, he pushes, he goes wide, he plays 1-2s and everything like that. Now put Eddie alongside that, we might have got a few more opportunities. I'm not saying that he did have a couple of opportunities, but we might have created a little bit more. Now we've looked a lot better with these guys in there, and Willian playing in there just wasn't. Just didn't work, like, you know what I mean. So from that point of view, I feel for him, but it doesn't mean to say that he's the answer. You know what I mean. If I'll be honest, I don't think that he is. But it was just a little bit of a mismatch. You know, you're asking players to come in and perform once a time. Now, look at Man United yesterday with Van der Beek.
Van der Beek, yeah.
He ain't played for ages. He's played with a lot of players, you know, Rashfords and all that are playing. Didn't do a thing because he hasn't played for a long while. When it was a lot, and that was with 3 or 4 players in and around him. You know what I mean? And then, but if you put Van der Beek in with like Jesse Lingard up there and someone else, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Manchester United wouldn't have won that game yesterday. Yeah, Solskjaer was clever what he'd done. You know what I mean? And rotated it. I think the way that it should be. And, you know, I'll tune in for 10 minutes of the Wycombe Spurs game until Spurs score today. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Harry Kane is not going to be sitting indoors with his feet up watching Coronation Street tonight. I guarantee he'd be there on the bench. I don't think he'd start, but he'd be on the bench. I'll be very, very surprised. And that's against a team in the Championship away from home. Very, very arrogant from Arteta. And I don't think that you realistically are in a position where you can throw away trophy opportunities. We've only got, there's 4 trophies you can win. right? 2 of them we ain't got a chance with. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll be honest with that. That's the league and the League Cup, because when it comes to the League Cup, we play our youth team not youth team, but a squad. Man City play virtually, you know what I mean? They make 1 or 2 changes like they do in the FA Cup for the League Cup. That's why they won it for 4 years on the spot, because a lot of other teams see that as, we'll give everybody a little bit of a go. But Man City are in and around it all the time. And I'll tell you what, like, Curtis, this is how bad the FA Cup's going for me now. Manchester City were losing 1-0 to Cheltenham, and I'm desperate for Manchester City to win because they're still in the road. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but if we'd have won yesterday, I'd have been cheering on Cheltenham and all that. Like, but that's how it is now. You know what I mean? I want all the big teams making sure that they win. You know,
it's disappointing. And as you've said there, you know, the Premier League we ain't going to win. The League Cup we don't take serious, and Man City seem to win it every year. The Europa League, I mean, this is our 4th season in it. We've been to 1 final, you know, so we're not. You can't say we're favourites to win the Europa League. So, like you said before, the FA Cup was the saving grace for Mikel Arteta last season. Why turn that down this season? I would have made that one of the priorities this season if I was him.
Yeah, and another thing that really starts to get me thinking about things, and on the transfers, you know, like loans, we've got Odegaard now, like, coming in. You know what I mean? And I think, is that a panic buy? Is that what's gone on there? Why don't we go and get him in January first on loan? Bosh. He would have played against Newcastle. He could have played against Southampton. He'd be match fit now, ready to go with a couple of games. But no, we've got him in. I don't even know the date today. That's the 25th. 25 days into the transfer window, we've got a loan signing in. You know, 25 days, Curtis. We could have had him on the 1st if we'd have been savvy wise, and we could have played it in. He could have had 2 games now and be ready to play against Southampton or contribute against Southampton and Man United this weekend. But he can't now because it's just little things like that wind me up a little bit about what's going on with Arsenal.
Mate, you're spot on. I think the problem is Arsenal are they're going out with their bowl and saying, what have you got? What can you spare us? You know, we're not decisive. You look at Man United last year, struggling in the league. January, Bruno Fernandes turned their season around, got them in the top 4. We're getting Odegaard, and listen, he might come in and do really well. I believe we don't even have an option to buy him. So realistically, he could come here and pull up trees for Arsenal, and Real Madrid could say, thanks a lot, we'll have him back, or we'll put the price up.
I look at that 2 ways. I think that you're dead right what you're saying. It could work out that he comes in and does really well and wants to stay at the Arsenal. The other thing is that Arsenal are thinking, well, we can't get the one we want this window. We'll have to wait till the summer. So we're bringing him in until the summer. I think that may be something there. Arsenal planning ahead. Well, I don't know for sure, but there does seem to be something in that. You know what I mean? I can't see it if you spent all summer, say, for instance, trying to sign a while, and then all of a sudden, well, we ain't going to go and try again in the summer, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So if that's the one that Arteta wanted to go for, maybe you can't get him in January, and maybe even get him on the cheap in the summer because of what's going on in France. I don't know, you know what I mean? We'll have to wait and see to the summer, but, anybody that thought we would do a Bruno Fernandes in this transfer window is on the old shambles, as I say,
Not happening, mate. More chance of Frank Bruno. More chance of Frank Bruno, mate, not Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, dear. I mean, listen, looking ahead, obviously, we got a big week ahead, man. Southampton tomorrow, Man United on Saturday. I mean, you were saying before, if we don't get a result at Southampton after they went full strength, we made wholesale changes, the pressure's going to be even bigger on Arteta, isn't it, moving forward?
100%, because, there are a lot of fans at this moment in time backing the decision of what he's done because they want 3 points. And whether you think they're delusional or not, and I've got a few of them in my group that still think that Arsenal can get to top 4. So, that I'm not going to have a go. My personal thing is that we can't, but if we can, and so these 3 points are valuable. Now, if we get those 3 points, they'll be justified in what they're saying, because and you move on. You beat Man United. Look, if we win our next 2 games, Curtis, we might move up 3 or 4 places, and it actually might be that we are pushing up the table a little bit, but lose those 2 games, and Mikel Arteta then becomes, I think, ready to be shot at again. Now, listen, Mikel Arteta will not say that he's loving it, and I don't mean that he has, but he would have been saying to himself, "I've rode that storm, and it's gone. The storm there has gone over to Stamford Bridge, and Frank Lampard's getting it. Well, that storm has took him, blew him away. So now those storm clouds have got to go somewhere else, and those storm clouds are the press and the media, and where are they going to go next? Now, at this moment in time, they're probably now think, well, I'll tell you what, we'll have a little mosey on up to Newcastle now, because Steve Bruce is the next one, right? You know what I mean? But after Steve Bruce can get a couple of wins and ease the thing, like it did with Arteta, and it's gone off Arteta and it's gone on to Lampard. And I'll tell you what, if he loses a couple of games, those clouds will all be coming back on Arteta. And I think at the end of the day, if they do come back on him, he's only got himself to blame. Yeah. Because he's put himself there, you know what I mean? He's actually put himself under the pump now by what he done on Saturday. Wins on Saturday, wins on Tuesday, wins on Saturday. Those clouds ain't coming back from Newcastle. They go somewhere else. You know what I mean? And there's always someone else under a little bit of pressure, but if he loses those 2 games, you watch. Mark my words. There'll be all the pressure back on Mikel, and he put you there himself.
It's true, and he probably woke up this morning, saw that Frank Lampard news, and thought, "Oh no, I didn't need that. I was happy with that pressure over there." I mean, I'm looking at this. I had a list here, all right, because a lot of people say Arteta needs his own players and so on and so forth. I think my biggest disappointment, Lee, I'll be honest, it's not even so much that we're struggling, because you could argue he hasn't had the backing that he needs. My biggest problem, I watch this Arsenal team and I get bored. I don't see a style of football. I don't see entertaining football. I don't see what he's trying to achieve. I watched Southampton press the living daylights out of our defence on Saturday. And, that manager has stamped his authority on this team. When I watch this Arsenal team, I think, what is the identity? What is the plan? What kind of style of football does this Arsenal team play? And I can't see it. What have you made of the style of football as well as the results?
Well, it's not been good, but I will say this: let them try and do that to us on Tuesday night with Partey in the side. Come up to a little bit different.
It is.
Newcastle try to do it, turns a player, Bosch gets in a Aubameyang. So there is I think that he looked at that team as they can press that team. You know what I mean? They can press that midfield, but do that with the other players that we're going to have in that side. And I think that he'd be a little bit more wary of it. Now, the game changed, let's be honest. The game changed a little bit when Partey and Saka come on, Yeah. So, and we look like we might nick something, you know what I mean? So I think that, I think from that point of view, I do feel it's a different game on Tuesday, but, let him try and pressure him and see what he does. As far as the entertainment side of it is, I'm going to stick up for Mikel Arteta. I just don't think he's got the players that he's wanted. It has changed in the last 6 games with the way that Smith Rowe comes in there. If you watch your football, one touch, then he'll go past someone with a dribble, then he'll pass the ball. He just mixes it up a little bit, and that encourages other people to play. But let's face it, Smith Rowe and Saka are probably our 2 best players in the team. I mean, they're 19 and 20. These should be 24, 25, on top of these 2 boys, I do think that Partey will come and make that a lot better. Yeah, we are relying on these ones, I do think that Martinelli come off on, people have criticised, why did Martinelli come off? I think because there's an issue with Aubameyang. I think Martinelli will start on Tuesday. So it felt like, 67 minutes is enough for him. Now, Martinelli, Lacazette, Saka and Smith Rowe in that 4 there, that's a better 4. Now, Now, and saying that, now, like, that means that our biggest signing doesn't get a look in. So when it comes to patterns of play or the way we're playing and whatever, I look at it and think, well, yeah, we've got to get these players. Oh, for me, on Saturday, I would have played Pepe in that little hole. See if he can play it.
Yeah.
Try something different. You know what I mean? Like if you're experimenting, he might work out to be a wonder in there, like or whatever, because he's certainly not doing it on the right. But no. I don't see us as entertaining as what we were. I think even under Emery, we was a little bit more entertaining. You know what I mean? With some of our stuff, we do it in fits and spurts. If I'll be honest. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to the great, when the Arsene Wenger sides that were great to watch from that. But like on the downside of that, our defending was always dodgy defending. The one good thing about our Arsenal setup in the moment is that we do look a lot, better defensively. So if you can get that sorted out and then get those explosive players, who knows? But I do see it being a process. I shouldn't say that word, but like
don't say that word.
It's a long. It is going to take time for it to develop, and especially when you haven't got the clout in the financial market. I don't see a short-term fix. Or I do feel that if we're going to keep with Arteta, I can't see us doing anything this season. It'd be more like next season that things are going to happen, and then. I do feel then the pressure could get even worse.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Moving forward, you just think, what can we achieve for the rest of the season? I do think the club will stick with him till next season. I think when they didn't get rid of him when we was 15th, they kind of let us know that they're going to stick with him until next season and see what happens. But
and that's what they have done. You know what I mean? They've looked at. They've looked at it for whatever reason, Kurt, whatever we think's right or whether it's wrong, whether it's financial, they do feel that he's the right manager for the team or the club. They're going to stick with him. So when you're getting defeats against Wolves, Burnley, and the likes, and not winning 5 or 6 home games on the spin, don't expect things to change with a little bump in the road against Southampton and a couple of others, But listen, I mean, if and it's a big if we win our next 2 games, people will turn around and say, we're on the right road, and it'd be interesting. These 2, I don't just think these 2 games. Also, I think the next 6 games will define our season, and I include the Benfica games in that. We can't rest anybody no more. There's no games to rest anybody. So it's the best team plays every week until they get injured. And unless you give Benfica a good stuffing away from home, which is not going to happen, So it's going to be a tough and interesting little ride coming up now for the next few weeks. And as I say, let's see what happens. And hopefully, as I say, we're eating humble pie.
Let's hope so. I just wanted to get your thoughts on a few of these transfer stories. Obviously, this has come out in the last hour. Mustafi is in talks with Arsenal to terminate his contract early. Similar agreement to Ozil and Socrates. The defender hasn't played since Boxing Day. They're trying to secure him a move. Apparently going to Lazio. What have you made of Arsenal's business going out the door? Obviously, Ozil, Socrates, Saliba. Do you look at it and think this business should have happened in the summer, or what's your thoughts on it?
Well, very, very much so. Very, very much so. I think Arsenal have been too nice, if I'll be honest. On further, that's certainly someone like Mustafi. He's had more games than he should have had this season. He's actually captained the side this season. Terminate his contract and close the door on the way out is my motto to
it's
that. It's one of
them, isn't it?
And if we can do it, the fact of the matter is we're having to terminate contracts of Mesut Ozil, Mustafi, Socrates, because no one's going to pay any money for them, and they're on big wages. So we're having to let them. go. £30 million for Mustafi, unbelievable. You know, I mean, not a penny. Should have gone in the summer. Should have gone a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, you know, as soon as he said he ain't signing his new contracts, I don't know what's in Mikel Arteta's head to carry on playing him, and let alone that give him the captaincy. I think it's unbelievable.
Oh.
You know, and so just see him go, and you know, get him off the wages and see where we go from there. Yeah, I think that. Listen, if he doesn't go, he's going to be surely the one player that's going to be left out of the foreign thing and not going to be in any of the squad. So you know, it's either you terminate your contract or you just you know, have 4 or 5 months, 6 months in it. Holiday pay. You know what I mean? Don't bother. Get on the old.
Sorry to interrupt you. What do you make of Arsenal when it comes to like selling players? Again, Mustafi, a £35 million player, going to walk out for nothing. Ozil, 42 million. You know, Sanchez went. You know, all these players, Jack Wilshere, Welbeck, Socrates. Why are we not bringing any money in for these players that we're buying?
Because the ball's rubbish. You know what I mean? Like, you know, listen, we've got another 2 players going into this now. You know what I mean? Like, and Arteta coming out. I want to keep Eddie. Eddie's got 1.5 years left of his contract. So if you actually get rid of him now, you could get some money for him. In the summer, he's going down into the last year of his contract. All of a sudden, why would you want? Listen, this is what I say. If I was a footballer, right, and I was playing, right, I know I'm same at Arsenal. I know that I'm not going to be a regular. I know that I'm not going to be the number one, right, and I've got 6 months or a year left on my contract. Like, I might have West Ham come in for me, or Crystal Palace, right, but. For a fair, but if I leave for free, I might have 6, 7 options because I've got a transfer fee of 15 million over my head. So all of a sudden, I've got a pick of a few more teams than 1 or 2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hold out on that contract. It ain't, you know, it's not rocket science. So do you think that Eddie is going to go, oh, yeah, I'll sign a new contract and be on the... No, he's going to hold out on that contract and go, yeah, and then try and get away for free because you know why? It's the best thing for him.
Of course.
Not for Arsenal. So realistically now, like, you know, Arsenal should be saying, do you want a contract or not? You're going to sign a contract? No, okay, right, sell. Lacazette is going to go into the same thing with him. Now, Lacazette's in a little bit of a different position because he's on about £200,000 a week. So is a club going to come in for him and go, I'll tell you what, we'll pay 40 million for you or 30 million for you plus £200,000 a week.
Not happening.
Tell you what, why don't you stay at Arsenal for another year and then we'll pay you £250,000 a week with no transfer fee.
Exactly.
And these are the things that are happening. And, you know, Aaron Ramsey was great for Arsenal Football Club. I don't care what anybody says, like, you know what I mean? He got a deal at Juventus for £400,000 a week. Now, it isn't £400,000 a week per that. What it was instead of Juventus paying Arsenal a transfer fee, they paid it into him. So it works out, with his signing on fee and whatever, it works out around about £400,000 a week. Do you think he would have got that a year before that?
No chance.
And Juventus would have said, well, we'll pay you 20 million plus. Of course they wouldn't have. You know what I mean? So the player, to his credit, held on and was absolutely outstanding what he'd done. But at the end of the day, you know, got his head down, great professional, and it's worked out for him. But you know, it's the same for a lot of these players. But we've been doing this for years, Curtis. You know what I mean? Like Sylvan Wiltord, £15 million record signing for Arsenal. How much did he go for? Nothing. Edu for him, brilliant midfield player. Went to Valencia for nothing. So this has been happening and happening for a very, very long while. And from me now, we've lost so many millions of pounds because of it. And we're still prepared to do it now, like, you know what I mean? And it's because we're not ruthless. Eddie, do you want to sign a contract? No, go. But then you've got you've got Arteta saying, oh, no, I want to keep him. Keep him for what?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to know.
To keep him for a backup and lose a certain amount of money. Look at the decision with Maitland-Niles. We had an offer of £20 million. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't want to sell him. But he's sitting on the bench most weeks.
Yeah, doing nothing.
Doing nothing. Mars would have sold him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, all these things that are happening are not good enough. And someone, Curtis, who's doing all these decisions and making these decisions is earning more than me and you and a fucking lot of others.
A lot more.
You know what I mean? For incompetence. You know what I mean? Like of a job. You know what I mean? Like, and it ain't really, you know, rocket science work. You just go, right, if you've got your 2 years of a contract, if you ain't going to have it, right, we'll sell. If we're not, we're gonna do this. Yeah. You know, and it's most clubs have one or two players go for free. Yeah. It goes all around the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because that's how it is. You know what I mean? Like Chelsea picked up the centre half from PSG for
Thiago Silva.
Yeah, brilliant. Carvalho went to Man United for free. Great little deals. You know what I mean? So it happens all around the world, but not 6, 7, 8 players. We've just had to let 3 go in this window. You know what I mean?
Like, as well. That's the thing. They ain't walking out.
You know what I mean? It's incredible. You know what I mean? Like, so I do. When people go on say about Mikel Arteta, and some of them just don't, you know, go, I'll get him out and all that. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to actually go down there and say get him, but there are questions. There's question marks over his decisions. One is, why do you want to keep Eddie and not take the money? Can you ask me that? You know what I mean? Especially if you, look, listen, I don't mind if you're Man City and all that, you know what I mean? Like, and you can afford to lose £50 million on players. We can't afford to do it. Or can we? Well, you know what I mean? Like, you can't make yourself out and say, oh, we're skint, we've got no money. I'll tell you what, there's another player going through the door for nothing. You know? And who's ever doing those sort of deals and sorting that out, you know, should be saying, like, if that was me now, I'm going to, I'm sorry, Mikel, Eddie's got to go now. Yeah. I don't care if you want him or not. He's not signing a new contract. We want 20 million. We can go and get somebody else. I'll tell you what, we'll sell him for 20 million. We can give Balogun a good contract and he can do what Eddie's doing. You know what I mean? Or somebody else or whatever, like, you know what I mean? It's been happening far too long for this football club. And realistically, Curtis, we're the ones, we're paying it out all the time. They're letting us down as well, not just Mikel Arteta and the players. They're letting us down as well by doing this. Yeah. Because we can't build what we want.
100%. I just wanted to, before I wrap up, what are your predictions for the 2 games this week? Southampton and Man United.
Do you know what? I think we'll beat Southampton.
Yeah.
I don't think we can afford to lose to them. You know what I mean? I just don't think like it'd be a tough game. Yeah. But I think that we you know, they only beat us 1-0 with our, you know, get our players back in and play well. I think we nick that. Man United would be I think depends on Man United. If Man United come out to play, and as Ollie says, do it our way. You know what I mean? Like, Ollie's going to come. We've done it our way. Well, if you come out there and do it your way, I think Arsenal got a chance of beating them. If you go and do it what you've been doing normally is packing your defence in on the break, then I fancy Manchester United will beat us. Any team that comes to Arsenal and plays a defensive game and puts a lot of defenders there and then it's us on the break will beat us.
It's crazy, isn't
it? The way we play. But if teams come and try to play against us, I think that we've got enough to beat them. You know, we haven't got enough guile in our team to break down banks of 4 and 5 at the moment. You know, and that's a fact. But if a team comes, you know, like the game against Newcastle, for instance, only opened up when we scored because they had to come through. And then you look at Smith Rowe, he got into the game a lot more. But in the first half, he found it very, very difficult. Now, if you can't break down Southampton, Newcastle's and teams like that, and Burnley's, you ain't going to be able to break down Man United. And Man United have got a lot more firepower than these teams. So it depends how Man United play. So I feel that we'll probably beat Southampton, but I just feel that Man United will have too much for us.
Listen, Lee, really appreciate you coming on, bro. Been a great show. It's flown by as well. I'll have to try.
We're an hour already. That's gone quick. I mean, let you speak for 5 minutes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all right. That's why I wanted you on, man. I was imitating your impressions on the watch along on Saturday, I was going, you dirty little, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I'll get. Do you know how many people ask me to say that? Like, it's unbelievable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Messages of saying that, like, you know. So, yeah, it's a mad world out there at the moment, like, you know.
Yeah. Big up everyone in the comments. Over 1,600 people in here. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button before you go. I'll be back for the watch along tomorrow. Let's hope we can get 3 points, man. Thanks a lot for coming on, Lee. Appreciate it.
No worries. Enjoyed it. Cheers, mate.